Okay, I'm gonna explain what it is, how to do this one, and then second one, I want you to hopefully by the time end of the video that you know how to do this. Okay, first of all, we need to figure it out what is a parent function of this one. The simplest of parent function is the simplest function. So we see absolute value right there. So this one is absolute value is the parent function. Sometimes you will have a little bit of a complicated given function, but we always have to have a one function that we are going to transform. So let's pick any number. The x, since it's input, you can pick any number that you like to use. For me, I will use 1, 2, 3, 4. So absolute value of when x is 1, y will be 1, right? Because let me show you how. So when x is a 1, absolute value of 1 is a 1, just like that. When x is a 2, absolute value of 2 is a 2. When x is a 3, absolute value of 3 is a 3. When x is a 4, absolute value of 4 is a 4. So we are going to draw the graph on this one, but for me, I will draw a dotted line. Let me use let's do the dotted line. Okay, so dotted line, this is the absolute value of function. Let me use right there, and of course we will have a other side too, right? So other side will be this way, and then that will be dotted. I will use, it's just my preference, I'm using dotted line as a parent function. So 1 is 1, 2 is 2 when you're gonna do this way. But in here it says that it transform. It says it transform. Oops. I want to use a highlight. You transform x to the 3 unit to the right. 3 unit to the right, because this negative number is always built in, just like I said. So when you rid of the negative, a minus sign, it will be 3. All right. So x was moved 3 unit to the right. So here, when x is 1, I'm using x is 1, x was 2, 3, 4. But that one I move 3 unit to the right. So I have 4, 5, 6, 7. That was my first transformation of x. And then y transformation was that outside, let me use a different highlighter. Outside, this is a vertical, which is a, right, vertical stretch in this case, and then move to up. So what I was, that this was a 3 times of a y value, y up and down, and then up 1. So my original value was a 1, y was a 1. Let me rearrange it. Y was 1, y was 2, y was 3 from the parent function. Now I stress it 3 times and then add 1. I stress 3 times and add 1. I stress 3 times and add 1. I stretch it 3 times and add 1. So this new one gives me 3 plus 1, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12, and 13. All right, but let's look at this before we do anything else. Let's look at the given the transform function. Transform function was what is my h and k here? This is my h, this is my k. So my h is a 3, my k is a 1. So that's where my starting point. When x is 3, 1, 2, 3. Y is k right here. This is my vertex. This point transform this way, and then graph get. Of course, I have to use a reference point, right? It was a stretch 3 times by this point. When in 4 is a 4, okay, I'm gonna redraw because, okay, let's do it again. 3 and 1, that's my vertex. This point transform to here. This is a 3 and 1. And when it's a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right here. When it's a 5, I have a 7. 7 goes to 4, 5, 6, 7. It's gonna be very narrow. It's gonna be very narrow. I just put the reference point right here. This is my vertex and reference point. And right here, this one, y-intercept was a 10. Y-intercept, right? Y-intercept is 10. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, y-intercept is here. The graph goes this way. So this one, 0 and 10 is a y-intercept. Right. My ugly graph looks like that. So always is to find h and k first, because that will be your starting point of the graph. And let's describe verbally. Alright, let's go. The graph was y equals to 3 times x minus 3 plus 1. I'm gonna go this direction. So the f of x translated first one is this one is a vertical. This one is vertical. No, vertically. My cat is crying. Vertically stretched. Vertically stretched by a factor of 3. That's 1. And next one, so wait a second, this is a 3. Next one, about this one. Let's go. And horizontal shift. Shift 3 units right. And then next one we're gonna do is this one. Okay, that one is, I should move this one. Let me move this one. I wanted to cut up. Okay, the next one is vertical shift. How many units? 1 unit, 2 unit up. That's the simplest I can be. So this is the order we're gonna go. Okay. All right. Let's look at the domain. I'm gonna do domain in here. Domain of new function I equals to forever right here. Forever, right? So domain is negative infinity to infinity. My range, smallest value is a 1, and then it goes to forever. So 1 to forever. And then when g over g equal to 0, oops. So you play. This means that when x is a 0, this means when x is a 0, which means we are trying to find the y-intercept. That's a critical point. Intercept was a 10. That's it. If you have a question, come tutorial.